Ashe, greetings, grand rising, a grand day, and peace and goodwill to you all. Once again, my fellow natural native earthly humans, you, the earth's organic humans and soulful humans, you, my fellow humans with soul, the world over. Yes, you don't know that this is I, yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And many thanks for stopping by and for giving up your time to listen to another perspective with yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And welcome to part 18. And this the continuation of the great big black and white lie exposed. Now, if by chance you have not yet watched part 1 through to part 17, and hopefully in that consecutive order, I ask that you please do so before watching this part 18, or that you please do so at your earliest convenience. If at all you are seriously interested in getting the facts and the most truthful understanding, and overstanding of what I'm talking about in this series, I highly recommend that you go back and watch part 1 through to this part 18. Now, for those of you who have been following this series thus far, or might have been listening to me speak on this topic elsewhere, and over the years, you will have noticed and no doubt came to the conclusion that I, the mystic philosopher, have made it my personal mission to expose this lie, and by extension to expose these lies, yes, the great big black and white lie, and to have most of you, if not all of you, my people and others to whom it may concern, come to the knowledge of the proven truth and to be enlightened to the destructive effects this lie, and by extension these lies, have had and are having on every aspect of our lives. And having come to the knowledge and of the proven truth, you too will then begin to redeem yourselves from the curses of being ignorant to this lie, and by extension the curses of being ignorant to these lies. For as it has been written hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, both written and said, my people are destroyed for lack of what? Knowledge. My people are being destroyed for lack of knowledge. My people are perishing and perish for lack of knowledge. And as it is my custom, please let me remind you of my main objectives, meaning my goals, the goals that I hope to have achieved by the end of this series, and the messages and facts that I intend to successfully convey to you all, my very patient, astute, and tolerant viewers, listeners, independent thinkers, and truth seekers. And my objectives are now at least 9. One is added. And they are as follows. Number 1 is to show and prove to you all, my fellow highly melanin and highly carbon skin complexion, natural native earthly humans, why we should not and why we must not call ourselves black. Number 2 is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not pronounce upon ourselves black, or allow others to pronounce upon us the word black. Number 3 is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not identify with the word black, why we should not answer to the word black or allow others to call, label, list, identify, name, and bestow on us black. For example, a black people, a black community, a black business, black nation, a black country, and a black race of people, etc. Number 4, and by the same token, is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not call, label, list, identify, name, and bestow on Caucasians, or anyone for that matter, or any other melanin and carbon skin complexion deficient race of people, or if you prefer, on any other pale skin, pinkish pale skin, or reddish pink or reddish pale skin for that matter. The word white, we should not bestow on them the word white, but stay tuned as we delve deeper into this. Number 5 is to show and prove to you that the English word black, or more correctly, the English word black, is a curse word. It is a word that brings only bad luck, a bad omen, a subjugation, humiliation, mental and physical enslavement. That's what it brings. Mistrust. It brings harassment, injustice, hatred, misfortune, and much, much more upon all those whom it has been called, cast, broadcast, and rebroadcast, etc. Number 6 is to show and prove to you that the earth and all her inhabitants, our Mother Earth and all her natural inhabitants, are under the spell and the curse of black, and by extension, blackness. Number 7 is to show and prove from the Caucasoid, imperialist, and colonizers' own dictionaries, namely the English dictionaries, that the people that have called, named, labeled, and listed themselves as white people, and are calling, naming, labeling, and listing themselves white, are not at all white. It is to show and prove that nothing is to show and prove to you that nothing about them is at all white. In fact, it is to also show and prove that if or when most things, if not all things, are intelligently, honestly, seriously, meticulously, and sincerely considered, most of them, if not all of them, are black. It is to show and prove to you that they are the real and true black ones. The real and true black people, yes. And thus, in accordance to their own English dictionary's meaning and definition of the word black, coupled with their works, coupled with their deeds, their actions, their present, their history, and their own track record, their carnage, bloodbath, and exploitation, etc. Often among all the native peoples of the earth with whom they have encountered, most of them, if not all of them, are the ones that should and must be called, labeled, listed, marked, profiled, and named black. And I ask that you please stay tuned and pay very close attention to this point as I delve deeper and deeper into this topic. And it is also to show and prove that not all the people that are called, not all of us that are called, that they call, label, listed, and named black are indeed black. But again, that's a subject all by itself. Stay tuned. I just have to drop that in. Number 8 is to show and prove to you that this, our current existence upon this planet, is a game, and one in which we melanin, we carbon skin complexion people are being played like pawns on a chessboard. It's a game that is highly stacked. It's to show and prove to you that it's a game that is highly stacked against us. And in order for us to change the game into in our favor, or at least to let it be a little more fair, we have to change the name black and all its synonyms and euphemisms as well. And number 9 is to help awaken and enlighten you, my fellow highly enriched in melanin and highly enriched carbon skin complexion people. You, the Earth's organic humans and natural native earthly humans, to the fact that by you allowing yourselves to be called, named, labeled, marked, profiled, listed, etc. as black. And to have the word black pronounced, cast, broadcast, recast, and rebroadcast daily on you is also to voluntarily surrender your dignity, to voluntarily surrender your integrity and your self-respect. And above all, it's an insult to your intelligence. And above all, it is also to voluntarily surrender to the Belak spell and its sorcerers and practitioners. But much more on these facts as I continue to delve deeper and deeper into this series. Please stay tuned. Now to the subject at hand, the great big black and white lie exposed. Now, according to the Winston Canadian Dictionary for Schools, the meaning and definition number 5 of the English word black is, and I quote, black indicating or meaning disgrace, as he has or he got a black mark of for conduct, unquote. From this meaning and definition number 5 of the word black, and in accordance with the aforementioned dictionary, English dictionary, we can see, interpret, know, understand, and overstand that black is a mark of disgrace. Black is a disgrace. Black means that you are disgraceful, aka you are full of disgrace. Therefore, to be called, identified, profiled, labeled, listed, marked, and named, etc., black is a disgrace. And it means that you are a disgrace. You are it means you are dishonorable. It means that you are a despicable human being or a despicable human. To call, identify, profile, label, mark, list, and name, etc. yourselves black means that you are consciously and unconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly telling the world and advertising to the world, advertising to your adversaries, the imperialists and the colonialists and all others that are in the know, especially in knowledge of the language, that you are a disgrace, that you are dishonorable, that you are despicable, and thus that you are not worthy of respect. By meaning and definition, and logically, technically, grammatically, or even more correctly for those in the know, grammatically. By meaning and definition, a black man is a disgrace. A black woman, a black child is a disgrace. Any human is a disgrace, and thus he or she is despicable. Meaning, he or she is deserving or deserves your hatred and contempt. Look up the word despicable. So, if you are still listening to me, I ask that you please ask yourself this question. If this is true, if all that I have been saying thus far is facts, or are facts, then who in his or her right mind, after knowing these facts, that would still want to be called, named, labeled, listed, profiled, or designated black? Who? From my perspective, no one would. However, the evidence has shown and still continue to show that most of you, my people, are still in or functioning from are not functioning from your right mind. Yes, the evidence show and continue to show that most of you, my people, are not in your right mind or functioning from your right mind. My late mom would say, at times of your ignorance, God may wink at, or he may even turn a blind eye. But the moment the truth is revealed to you, then you must repent and start acting in accordance to the truth, to these facts. Stop calling yourself black. For your information, there is a story in the Adamic race, or more correctly, in the imperialists and colonizers' race history and holy book, aka the Christian Holy Bible, that talks about how Adam, eldest son, Cain, unalive his younger brother Abel, and as a result as a result of his abominable and despicable act, the Adamic God placed a mark on him. And the purpose of the mark was and still is to first identify him. It was a mark of identity because of his black, meaning evil deeds. Remember, black means evil. Black means evil deeds. Second, that's number one. Second, the mark was and still is to distinguish him as the most vicious, the most brutal, the most cold, soulless, heartless, and deadlier humankind than all the other races and peoples up on the earth, and with whom he and his descendants would come in contact with and would encounter. Third, the mark was and still is to ensure that he and his descendants be not erased, at least for now, by humans, or be not erased from the face of the earth, but that he and his seeds, or he and his descendants, become nothing but a curse of vile, vicious, cruel, worthless, reckless, restless, ruthless, savage wanderers and tormented souls upon the earth forever. Now, for those of you that might not have heard about this story, and for the rest of you, my listeners, for your convenience, in not having to look it up and read it for yourselves, let me quickly read it for you. And I quote, Adam made love to his wife. I'm quoting from the Adamic race history and all the book. Adam made love to his wife, Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a child. She said, with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. No. Later, she gave birth to his brother, Abel. Now, Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. And Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. The Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Now Cain said to his brother Abel, let's go to the field. While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and unalived him. The Lord said to Cain, where is your brother Abel? I don't know, he replied. Am I my brother's keeper? The Lord said, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crop for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. But the Lord said to him, no, not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over. Then the Lord put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of the garden. Unquote. Genesis 4, 1 to verse 8, the New International Version. Now, from my perspective, the mark that the Adamic God placed on Cain after he slew his brother Abel was black, meaning evil. The mark of evil, the mark of disgrace, the mark and the curse of blackness. And thus, he and his descendants were blacklisted. They were black marked, blackballed, and thus forever cursed. Because he was guilty of violating Mother Nature's law by first being greedy, being selfish, being hateful, and bad mind, and thus wanting to claim and possess that which was not his, and that which, in the sight of his own Creator God and man, he did not earn, or nor was he worthy of deserving or receiving. 2. His greed, selfishness, and bad mind then led to him being envious, covetous, hateful, and jealous of his younger brother. His brother's righteousness, his brother's right way of living that had earned him favor with their God. His brother's just reward and noteworthy accomplishments. Number 3, his covetousness, jealousy, hatred, and bad mind then led to him beginning to conspire, to plot on how to bring harm to his own innocent and younger brother. And number 4, and him being possessed with covetousness, greed, envy, jealousy, hatred, and bad mind, he became a manifest liar. He became a thief, an unaliver, and a destroyer, and thus infringing upon innocence by shedding the blood of his innocent brother. Now, in previous sessions, I told you that according to the said Adamic race history and holy book, the man called Yahushua, commonly called Jesus today, said, and I quote, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy," unquote. From which I explain that lie and thief walks together, and that a liar is a thief is an unaliver, and a destroyer. So hopefully now you also know, understand, and understand that it is greed, it is envy, covetousness, hatred, and bad mind that cause people to lie, steal, unalive, and destroy. And that is just one of the many ways by which we can identify the seeds and the descendants of Cain that are among us today. The seeds and descendants of Cain, Cain that inherited their ancestors' mark, the black mark, aka the mark of disgrace. And from my perspective and interpretation of the seeds and descendants of Cain among us today are the black Caucasians, aka the evil Caucasians, and their heirs and successors, and also by extension their black converts, the black Caucasians, and by extension their black converts, the real and true black people. The curse and the despicable, restless wanderers that are roaming the earth, making and causing mischief, being bad-minded, envying, coveting, stealing people's land, stealing people's properties and other possessions, conquering and colonizing the natural native earthly humans, inventing and creating nuclear and biological weapons and mass destructions, a biological weapon of mass destruction, instigating wars, causing wars, committing and causing genocides, mercilessly terrorizing and unaliving innocent women and children, and bringing sicknesses, diseases, suffering and death and destruction upon the earth, you name it. And it is by their fruits. That's how we know them. Now, in the interest of time, which I have so far surpassed, this will be the end of this part 18. So, I ask that you please stay tuned. There will be much more thought-provoking insights and perspectives, etc. to come. So please stay tuned for the continuation in part 19. there I will pick up right where I'm leaving off here. So thanks again for watching and for listening. And if you think or believe that my presentations are worth sharing and possibly start a discussion or reasoning, please share. Discuss it with your friends, your family. In the meantime and between time, here is willing that in your becoming, that you be more and more and much, much more, and definitely not less. For I am the mystic philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.